Welcome back, David. Thanks for joining us on the PTDU podcast.
Good morning,
S-
Adam.
Today, we are going to dive into turning home safety evaluations into plan of cares, into more patients, and as a way to kind of sell yourself to get the foot in the door. So, David, let's kind of start in the top. Let's first define what a home safety eval is, and then how we can then turn that into more patients, more referrals, and frequencies.
Definitely. Yeah. I look at a home safety eval as the chance to go into someone's home and assess both the equipment that they're using in general in everyday life, but also the house itself or the apartment. Obviously, the things that jump out at you are the setup for the toilet and the shower, the setup for the bed, and the layout of the furniture and any obstacles in the house, to go along with making sure all of their equipment is sized correctly, whether it's a walker, a cane, whether the wheelchair is operational and safe with brakes. Just going over all aspects of anything with mobility and safety, for the patient, both in their everyday life, but in the home specifically, because many patients have never had this happen. They've never had someone look over where they live or what their setup is for their equipment and their home. And you can then turn around and make a lot of recommendations, whether it's a change of the equipment they're walking with, pairs as needed, along with adding things like grab bars, a 3-in-1 commode over the toilet, any kind of bed rail or a bed cane for the bed for easier mobility in and out of bed, even recommending motorized lift recliner chairs, all the way to the extreme of whether a patient, has a Hoyer lift. Are they using it correctly? Do they need specialized hospital beds?
Hmm.
Also, checking out even at the other end, stuff that you might not think about as much, but their oxygen equipment, the hose safety, and obviously, all of us at some point have told people to pick up rugs. And
Yeah.
many of these houses, between the furniture and the rugs being a problem, or even a pet, I've noticed more and more recently people have pets that they don't take outside because they have limited mobility. And there's all kinds of pee pads all over the house, or with the setup for the kitty litter. These
Yeah.
are big fall risks. So there are a lot of different things to be checked out. And many of these patients have bad vision. So it makes all of this dangerous, but also they might not even realize that they spilled something yesterday and there's water on the floor somewhere. And you have the opportunity to look through the house and just catch all of these dangers and point them out to the family or the patient and make it safer.
Okay. So that is a good definition of what a home safety eval is. Now, when we would be pitching that, is this more for the patient that's maybe a little apprehensive to therapy and they're not sure if they want therapy? So is this a way to get a foot in the door? Or who is like the quote unquote home safety eval for? Is it you want to go in there, you get the foot in the door and then sell your value on, okay, here's actually all the things we can work on with a long frequency? Or who are we recommending this for or using this as an option to get in there?
I think the best answer for that is it's for everybody, that this is really the easiest thing to sell to potential clients. I've seen it used many times in assisted livings or independent livings. And when they hear Medicare will cover it, people get very excited about that. It's
Mhm.
for the family members that are worried about their family, whether they're local or out of state, that the setup isn't good. I believe everyone, including patients, know that they haven't always made their home the safest environment. So it applies to everyone. But there are many patients, once you're in the door, once you're going over all this stuff, you will realize they need therapy and follow up visits. And so will the family. And I think some family members might even use a home safety assessment as a way to get you in there for their family member that doesn't want therapy, that's been refusing to have physical therapy. This could be a way around that when the family wants it, but the patient isn't sure or is resistant. And then once you're in there, you can point out all the things that can be improved upon and use it as a way to get in the door and provide therapy. For example, if they get new equipment, now they need therapy to learn how to use the new equipment. The advice you give could lead to therapy, but also just the opportunity to be in the house and see how the person's moving. You don't have to just recommend equipment or changes to the home. You might then point out, I'm not sure you're aware of this, but you're shuffling a lot when you walk, or notice that your pain increased with walking, or you got short of breath very quickly while we were doing this, or even you got tangled in your oxygen hose while you were walking. That's dangerous. We really need to teach you how to walk with that hose in a safer way. I don't think there's any patient that you'll do a home safety eval on that wouldn't require follow-up therapy or benefit from it, except the person that doesn't use a device is doing terrific and you find no problems in their home. That's probably the only patient where it wouldn't come up. But that patient might not let you come in the first place. So once you do a home safety eval, it is very likely that is a person that would need therapy. And it's really awesome that you can offer the home safety eval with Medicare covering it as a
Mhm.
eval if you get orders from the doctor, that there's no risk for them, but it enables you to uh,
Yeah.
get in there, see what's going on, and help them.
And the nice thing is, I mean, especially with 2026, we don't have to get signatures on the frequencies. Meaning, once we have that signature from the doctor for the eval and treat, let's say worst case scenario, you do a one and done eval only. You do your home safety eval, and the patient says they're good, and you just do an eval. Best case scenario, you do that eval, and then you can then write whatever frequency it is that's necessary on there, and now you have a whole plan of care. And that's the beautiful part about either marketing that to providers, facilities, or just your patients is we just need that eval and treat order. And then you can do as you see fit for what that patient needs once you're in there and then turn it into, like I said, a plan of care. So that's a huge, huge thing where you can just get that foot in the door because most people they're opposed to therapy. They say, "Oh, I don't think I need it." But once you get in there and show your value as a clinician, then they're more open to it when you make some recommendations and provide your professional opinion on things. Right.
Two other points to add to that. One is you could also, if the person's not sure they want follow up therapy after that, still set up a frequency like a 1 week six and
Hmm.
tell them that your plan is to come back next week and check out all the equipment that they have added, gotten that needs to be sized, and that they don't have to keep having follow up therapy after that, but it's set up if
Hmm.
they decide they do. The other thing about these safety evals that can work really in your favor is many patients are thinking of therapy just as lots of exercise. And this will give you the chance to show them I'm not coming here to torture you and make you do lots and lots of different exercises. I'm coming to teach you how to do things safer. And that might make them feel more comfortable when they don't find out it's just endless exercise. It's actually training how to get in and out of chairs or walk with the walker or in and out of bed in a more comfortable way. That might make them open minded to a therapy plan that they would never have accepted if they thought it was just endless exercises, sitting and standing, and that's all you're going to do.
Yeah. One of the not most popular, but parallel businesses that this is actually applies really well to is those motorized scooters. Like I said, we have a therapist that we connected with that a motorized scooter. They need those wheelchair evaluations, home safety setup evals endlessly. And when you go and do that, then you turn that into a frequency because, okay, great. Now, how do we transfer getting to and from the wheelchair? How do we transfer XYZ? Finding those connections where those home safety evals make a lot of sense and that are frequent, then get you in the door to then turn those in. So how would you kind of pitch that to, I guess, when you're putting yourself out there to either providers, other DME businesses, those types of spots?
Yeah, I think you hit on an easy one. DME companies, when you go in there and make the relationship and try to connect with them on the pretense you'll send people there for equipment, what you really
Mhm.
back is them recommending you for these home safety evals or sizing of equipment when it's purchased, and that you're, an option for them to market you. For an assisted living or independent living, there's no reason why you can't go to whoever's in charge and put yourself out there that you can assist in getting them orders for people that move in and are brand new and are setting up their place, and maybe
Yeah.
training how to just use the new shower setup, or just the new situation with bed and toilet, but also to make sure that the family set the apartment up correctly is another angle that can definitely be worked. There's also communities where I live where they're more senior communities, a Century Village, a Kings Point, where you could post an ad on their bulletin board if they let you, that you do free home safe, not free, you do home safety evals, covered by Medicare orders to come out for either new residents or people that have lived there a long time.
Mhm.
But it's just a great way to get your name out there as an option other than just therapy, that you can make their homes safer.
That's always the first foot in the door, and then it's on you to kind of put your expertise out there, give your professional opinion, and provide value at the end of the day. If the patient thinks you're just coming in there and don't care or not doing a good enough job, you won't turn those into frequencies or plan of cares. But if you're going in there showing that you care, providing value, making some recommendations, 9 times out of 10, there's gonna be no reason they wouldn't want you to keep coming back and seeing them, every year.
Definitely, yep, and to follow up on what you've already taught, but also to, adapt to any changes that have happened in their lives.
Yeah.
They come back a year later, could be a completely different setup than it was
Mm,
a year ago. And it's not just about recommendations of what to do for the house or what equipment to get, it's how to use it, how to navigate changes, how to adapt.
beautiful. All right. Think that was helpful. Thank you.
Have a great day.
All right. Have a good one, everyone.